All right, so we're going to start in chapter 5 today since we finished up the chapter 4 test. Chapter 5 is all about integers in the coordinate plane. So the coordinate plane is when you graph. We've talked a little bit about it already this year, but we haven't really talked much about integers. Does anybody know what an integer is? Anybody have an idea of what an integer is? So an integer is just a number, but it is either a negative number, zero, or positive numbers. It can't be a fraction, it can't be decimals. So we're done with fractions and decimals for right now. Okay, now we're just dealing with positive and negative numbers and zero. Okay, so that's what integers are. So down here, it says math in the real world. Two friends rappel 300 feet down into a canyon. Their starting position is represented by 0 on the number line. Their ending position can be represented by negative 350. It says graph negative 350 on the number line. So here's our number line. There's 0. That's where they started. They're going down. Okay, so on a number line like this, you literally just put a dot right where the number's at. So that's how you do a number line. Okay, with positive and negative numbers. All right? So now we're going to jump over to page 345. We're going to get into lesson 1. So lesson 1 is all about integers and graphing. All right, so we're going to be starting off with what an integer is, what a negative integer is, and a positive integer. So right here in the real world link. The bar graph shows the amount of money remaining in the clothing budgets of 4 students at the end of 1 month. So a value of negative $2 means that someone overspent the budget and owes his or her parents $2. Okay, so if it's negative, that means they spent too much and they owe their parents money. So here's our graph. So we got Berto, who spent about $5, Elijah's $2, Jenna went negative and was down -2, and Myron spent -$8. So what number represents owing $8? What would we put for owing $8? Hunter? -8. So if you owe money, you're negative. So what number represents having $5 left over? Just 5, positive 5. You can put the positive sign. You do not have to. Okay, if you just put just 5 like that, that means the same thing. All right, now let's look. Who has the most money left over? Who's got the most money left over? Berto. So we would put Berto has the most. Okay, now who owes the most money? Who owns the most money? Okay, Myron. Myron owes the most. Okay, why? Why does Berto have the most left over, and why does Myron owe so much? Why? What can we say? What did Myron do? Why does he owe so much? He used more money. He spent eight extra dollars than what he was supposed to. So he owes more. Now, why does Berto have the most left over? Hunter?
Because he spent the most.
He spent the least amount of money. He didn't buy anything. He might have bought something he wanted and then pocketed the $5. Okay, easy as that. That's all you have to do to explain it. All right? So let's jump over to the next page. And we're going to start talking about how you use integers to represent data. So positive whole numbers and their opposites and 0 are called integers. Like I said, any negative number, any positive number, and 0 are called integers. Now, like they can't be fractions and they can't be decimals. So to represent data that are less than a 0, you would use a negative integer. It's like a number line. Oh yeah, Brody, why don't you have a seat right there, pal? Did I give you a math book last time? I'll grab you one. All right, so now the positive integers are the ones greater than 0. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, those are positive. Anything less than 0 is a negative. Okay, so here's a number line that kind of gives you a better idea. So we have negative numbers down here. Here's 0. And that's the thing. 0 is never negative. It's never positive. It's just 0. Yeah. 346. Okay, now all the positive numbers are basically above 0. Anything to the right. Now, everything to the left or below 0 are the negative numbers. When they say opposites, okay, opposites just mean if I give you 6, what is the opposite of 6? Negative 6. Okay, that's what that means, all right? So it just means they're in opposite directions from 0, all right? Now, this first part, they're going to want you to write an integer for each situation. Then you explain the meaning of 0. So number 1, it says a 10-yard loss. So it's like football. So we have a 10-yard loss. How would I represent that with a number? What number would we use for a 10-yard loss, Hunter? Negative 10. Now, the second part is that they want you to explain the meaning of 0 in each situation. So if they would have put 0 there, what would 0 represent in a football game? Like when it comes to yards and losses and gains. If we put up 0 yards, what did we do? Hunter? Exactly. We didn't gain any, we didn't lose any. It's just 0 right here. That's how you explain the 0 in this situation. So let's go down to number 2. 4 inches of rain above normal. What integer would we use to represent that? What number? Katie? Just 4. Now, what would 0 represent? Hunter?
No inches of rain carried their loss.
No. So it's just a normal amount of rain. We didn't get any extra rain. We didn't get anything. We didn't get any less rain. It's just 0 means there's no extra rain. All right. So now 3. A $48 deposit into a savings account. Now, what number would we use there? What number would we use? A $48 deposit into a savings account. Hunter? Just 48. Okay, it's because you're increasing your amount. Okay, so a 48, when you deposit money, you're putting money into your account. When you withdraw, you're taking money out. So that'd be a negative. You're losing money. Now, it says in this situation, the integer 0 represents what? What if we put $48 deposit into the savings account? What does 0 represent? Hunter?
That you didn't put any money in the savings account or take any.
Exactly. So 0 represents no money deposited or withdrawn. So you didn't take any money out and you didn't put any money in. Yeah. I don't have any more, pal. Has anybody got an extra pencil that he could borrow? Thank you, Destiny. All right, let's jump over a couple pages. So this is what we're going to work on further right now. Okay, we're working on just coming up with a number to represent the situation and explain the 0 for that situation. So this first one here, number 1, 3 miles below sea level. What number would we use there? Brody? Negative 3. Okay, so that's the first part. Now we have to explain what 0 means. So if we're 3 miles below sea level, what would 0 mean in this situation? So think of it as a number line. Okay, so I got a number line here. Here's 0. Okay, right here it would be -1, -2, -3. Okay, so there's the water. Everything's below. So what would 0 represent, Katie? Yeah, just the water level. So 0 represents the water level. Okay, you're at the top. You didn't go below. You're not above the water. You're not below the water. You're floating on the top. All right, let's do number 2. Earning $45. So you earned $45. So what is the integer we would use for this situation? We earned $45. Amy? Just 45. Okay, now what would 0 represent in this situation? Hunter? Exactly. 0 equals no money gained, no money lost. So you didn't earn anything, you didn't lose anything. That's what 0 represents for that situation. Any questions on this? So there's two parts to every problem here. You're literally coming up with the number, and then you explain what 0 means in that situation. Okay, so why don't you guys go back to page 346, and I want you to do A and B. So you need to write the integer for each situation, and then explain what 0 means for that situation. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes. Go ahead and get moving. Never seen so many sixth graders that don't want to talk. Okay, so for letter A, we have a gain of $2 a share. So that's stock markets. Okay, so letter A, who can walk me through letter A? Why are you looking so scared? Letter A, what are we going to put? Come on, anybody. If you gain $2, what'd you get? So positive 2. Okay, so we put positive 2. And then what's 0 represent? Exactly. 0 equals no money gained, no money lost. Perfect. All right, now letter B, 10 degrees below 0. Destiny, now you got this one. So negative 10. And then what's 0 mean? Well, we're talking about degrees here. We're talking about temperature. So how would you put that? So what's 0 represent? How many degrees is it? 0 degrees. 0 means, or 0 equals 0 degrees. Nothing crazy. Don't overcomplicate this, guys. It's that easy. They're just wanting you to represent it. Well, on the thermometer, 0 means 0 degrees. Okay? Any questions on these two? So all you're doing is there's two parts. You pick the number that represents that situation, and you explain what 0 means. That's it. Okay? So let's go on to the next page. All right, now we're going to take those integers and we're going to graph them on a number line. Okay? Yes. So on this, okay, you can either have a horizontal or a vertical number line. What do I mean by this? Okay, this would be a horizontal number line. So they want you to graph -7 on this line. Well, you literally just put a dot right there on the number line. That easy. Okay? So in this case, they give you 1. Now, sometimes they'll give you a set of numbers, or a set of integers anyways, and they just want you to put a dot on each one. Well, here's our number line. Okay, so we have -4, 2, -1. So you put a dot at -4, put a dot at 2, put a dot at -1. That's it. That's how you graph integers on a number line. So those are both horizontal number lines. Now, number 6 is vertical. Okay, so it's like a thermometer. It doesn't change anything. It's still 0 would be in the middle or whatever. You could start with 0 up here, but all the numbers would be negative then. It just depends on how you set them up. Okay, so let's jump a couple pages back over to page 349 again. All right, we're going to do 4 and 5. So it says graph each integer or set of integers on a number line. So the good thing is when you have a number line like this, you get to pick the numbers you put on there. So I normally, when you only have 1, is I put like -5 here and then so what would go next over here to the left? -6, -7, -8. Now what would go here? -4, 3, and -2. Now, since we're just plotting -5 on the number line, you put a dot. right at -5. That's it. That's all they want you to do for graphing, all right? And let's do this one. So this time we have a set of integers. So we have 2, -3, 0, and 1. Whenever you get 0 or you got numbers close to 0, I always put 0 right in the middle. It just makes things a lot easier, okay? So then -1, -2, -3, what would go over here? What goes right here? 1, 2, 3. So now we go back up to our set. So our first number is 2. So I go over to 2, put a dot. Next number is -3. Well, we go to -3, put a dot. 0, put a dot. And 1. And that's how you graph on a number line. Okay? Any questions on that? All right, let's go back. I want you guys to do a couple. So if you look, the number line is over here off to the side for letter B or D, and letter C is right there. So they did a vertical one and a horizontal one. So all you're doing is graphing those numbers. Okay, go ahead. Let's look at these. So letter C. Okay, we have the set of -3, 0, -2, and 4. Who can come up and graph one of these? Yeah. So just do -3. Actually, do -3 and 0. Yeah, you might have to do that. I don't know what's going on with it. Why is it not want to work? All right, we're just going to have to scratch that idea. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with my pens. I got to fix them. Okay, so there would be -3. Here's 0, -2, and 4. Okay, any questions on that one? All right, let's go over here. So what's our first number on the vertical number line? 8. Okay, so 8 goes right here. So that's positive. Okay, next one? -6. So we got to go down here. Next one? Now, this is what, yes, it's in between. So when you have a number like that, you have to go in between. It's halfway. So what was our next one? 5, which is, there you go. Any questions? All right, let's go do one more, because you will see something like this. So number 7, Elena and her dad played golf on 4 different days. The data set, -1, 1, -3, 2, shows Elena's scores in relation to par. So graph the scores and then explain the meaning of 0 in the situation. So you literally take that set of numbers, graph them on a number line, then what would 0 represent for this situation? Yes, it's golf. I know a lot of people don't understand golf. But in this situation, 0 would be par. I know it's not a very good example because a lot of people don't understand golf. I play it, and half the time I don't even understand it. Okay, so what you're going to do now is I want you guys to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 on your own. 1, 2, 3, and 4 down at the bottom of page 348. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're applying all of this to one situation. These. Whoa. All right, so for the first 2, it says write an integer for each situation. Explain the meaning of 0 in each situation. So number 1, who can walk me through number 1? 15-yard gain. Okay, we got to do 2 parts here. Hunter?
For the 15, it just stays 15.
Okay.
And for the 0, it's 0 yards gain and 0 yards lost.
Perfect. So 0 means 0 yards gained or lost. Okay, so you didn't gain any yards, you didn't lose any yards. You stayed at 0. Okay. Now, number 2, loss of 2 hours. Who can do this one for us? Katie? Okay.
And then 0 equals no hours lost with no hours.
So 0 means no hours lost. That's all you got to put for that situation because you can put gain too, or lost, or gain. Okay, so 0 means no hours lost, no hours gained. That's it. All right, and now, how do we guys set up this number line here? What did you guys put in the middle? Okay, 0, that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. So that'd be -1, -2. 1, 2. Okay, and then you put a dot and -2. So you could have done, guys, not everyone's number line is going to be the same. It does not have to be the same. Okay, you could write this literally 1,000 different ways. Okay, and number 4. Okay, what are we going to put in the 0 here, Hunter?
0.
0, that works. 1, 2, -1, -2. So our first number is -1, so we put a dot there. 1 and 0. And number 5. The data set +5, 0, -15, and +20 show the number of points Delaney scored on each hand of a card game. Graph the scores, explain the meaning of 0 in each situation. So how did you guys graph it down here? What's your number line look like, Katie?
In the middle is 0, and then on one side it's +5.
Okay, so you did it by 5s. Perfect. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So that'd be -5, -10, -15, -20. That is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, you can make a number line go by 5s, by 2s, by 3s, whatever you want to do. It's your number line. It's whatever makes it easier for you. So our first one would be +5. We have 0, -15, and +20. So what would 0 represent in this situation? What would 0 represent in this situation? So how did she get these points anyways? What was she doing, Hunter? Playing cards. So what would 0 mean?
0 points gained.
Exactly. So 0 means a score of 0. She literally scored 0 points. Easy as that. Okay? Any questions? All right, so now your homework is on IXL. It's going to be 6M1 and 6M2. So 6th grade math, section M, numbers 1 and 2. Okay, so you're basically doing the same thing we just did on here. So go ahead and get your computers out. You got plenty of time to work on this.